My parents made me leave school to take care of my little brother without getting paid, so I ran away. Now my mom is following me and threatening to kidnap me after trying and failing to force me to come back home. I am a 15-year-old girl and will be starting my junior year in high school soon. I have a little brother, Matt, who is 3 years old. Both my parents work full-time in the business district. I was a planned baby, but Matt wasn't, and my parents even thought about giving him up for adoption but decided against it. They don't know I know this. After my mom went back to work from her maternity leave, there was a schedule for who watched Matt. Mom leaves for work at 4:30 a.m., waking me up as she goes. I take care of Matt until I leave for school at 7 o'clock, and by then my dad is up and takes over. I get home from school at 3:45 p.m., and my dad leaves for work by 4 o'clock p.m. I watch Matt until my mom gets home around 6 o'clock p.m. This was the routine for the first year, and I was okay with it. But now my mom has changed her work hours to come home later. I take care of Matt until he goes to sleep, and I can't go to bed until my mom gets home, which is usually between 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock p.m. Besides that, I do all the household chores. I'm also in AP classes and have a lot of homework. Matt isn't very well behaved because he has had health problems since he was born, which make him uncomfortable. I understand he's a toddler, but his tantrums and behavior make it hard for me to get things done. The two events that broke me the most happened a week before school ended in May. I managed to talk to my mom and asked if we could hire a babysitter for Matt so I could join some extracurricular activities. She said they didn't need to waste money on that because they had me. 2 days later, my mom got home at 5 o'clock p.m., which was early for her. After dinner, she told me to ask the school if I could shorten my class load next year so I could spend more time at home since my dad also wanted to change his work hours. I told her no. She got mad, saying I needed to be more understanding and accepting. I had enough and blew up. I can't remember everything that was said, but I remember yelling that I wasn't Matt's parent. I stormed to my room, packed some things in my backpack, and left while my mom was distracted by my brother. I'm safe now. I called my grandmother and explained what was happening. She and my mom don't get along, but I've stayed close to her. She picked me up, and after hearing the details, said she understood. My parents kept calling and texting, demanding I come home, and saying I should be ashamed of my behavior. My grandmother blocked their numbers. She talked to them, and they agreed I could stay with her until I get my head on straight. I feel really bad for leaving my brother, but I'm also super tired. Some family members support me, but others say I should just accept my responsibilities and deal with it. I'm confused and don't know if I did the right thing by leaving. Update in the comments, same day. I'm posting here because I can't add more to the main post. Thanks to everyone who commented. I feel better about my choice now. Some people suggested I talk to my parents about getting a babysitter or setting some boundaries. I've tried before, but they didn't listen or just said things like, "That costs too much," or "You're doing a great job," or "You're the big sister, so it's your job to take care of him." I looked up parentification since I hadn't heard of it, and it seems to fit what's happening to me. My grandmother is talking to a lawyer and wants to arrange for me to stay with her for my last 2 years of high school. After I graduate, I plan to go to college in another state. Thanks again for your support. If anything big happens, I'll update you all. According to the comments, I'm not the jerk for leaving. Update post, July 16, 2023, almost 1 month later. It's been a few weeks and a lot has happened. I'll try to keep it short. Thank you all for your comments and support. It meant a lot to me and my grandmother, who says hello. Firstly, my dad found my post, and he told my mom about it. She then went on social media and said some bad things about me to our extended family. But she deleted the post a few hours later, according to my cousins who support me. A few days after that, my dad apologized to me during a meeting with our lawyer and my grandma. It felt sincere. My mom was mad but didn't say much. My little brother Matt was with my aunt during this time. Eventually, they agreed, even though my mom didn't like it, to let my grandma take care of me until I turn 18. The next day, my grandma and some supportive family members helped me gather my stuff from my parents' house. I didn't feel truly relieved until that moment. Now I'm trying to enjoy my summer. I'm hanging out with friends, going swimming, relaxing, and finally reading books I bought 3 years ago but never had time to read. I'm planning activities for next semester and even organizing a birthday party for my sweet 16 in February, my first in 3 years. I'm also helping my grandma around the house. I'm doing chores, but this time I'm getting paid for it. Even my sleep has gotten better. It's a whole new way of living, and it's kind of overwhelming, but I've never been happier. Hopefully this is the last time I post. I'm going to log off Reddit and go shopping with my grandma. Thank you all for your support. Relevant comments. Did you manage to get all your important documents? Our lawyer was with us when we picked up my stuff, and we got all my important documents from my dad. My mom stayed hidden in the bedroom. Make sure you don't contact them at all. When I first left, my grandma blocked their numbers, and I blocked all their social media and emails. I don't hate them. Life's too short for hate. I don't even feel angry anymore, just disappointed and let down. I don't think they would neglect or abuse Matt. Mom would get frustrated because he was fussy, but she never hurt him. Dad was more patient with him. They believed I was really good at taking care of him and keeping him calm. I hope to reconnect with him when he's older, but with our mom being who she is, I'm not sure what will happen. Update post, February 18, 2024, 7 months later. Hey everyone, I posted in the AITA subreddit about a situation with my parents, especially my mom. TLDR. I was made to take care of my little brother all the time, got tired of it, and went to live with my grandma. My parents gave legal custody to her. You can find more details in my previous posts. Things are going well. I'm doing good in school, doing some extracurricular activities like robotics and debate team, and still have time for reading and hanging out with friends. I've started talking to my dad again, but it's only on the phone and mostly small talk. I talk about school and classes with my dad, and he updates me about Matt, my little brother. I haven't spoken directly to my mom since my grandmother got custody. The last time my dad talked to me, he said Matt realized I wasn't around anymore and got upset. They hired a nanny to help, but both my parents had to cut back their work hours. That was about a week and a half ago. Last Saturday, I had my dream birthday party, themed around books. The cake looked like a stack of books, and the snacks were based on different types of books. Everyone came dressed as book characters, and I dressed as Sherlock Holmes. We had a cozy venue just for us, and it was awesome. The party was chill and relaxed. My grandmother hired security because a couple of bullies at school threatened to crash it after hearing about it. After a few hours, most guests left and only my grandmother, myself, one of the guards, and my two closest friends were left. When I went to the restroom, one of my friends told me my mom had shown up and wanted to see me. I didn't tell anyone in my family about the party, not even my dad or the supportive ones, because I was afraid of this exact situation. I also didn't post about it on social media. I heard yelling from my grandmother and decided to see what was going on. When I got there, a security guard was holding my mom back, and my grandmother was really angry. As soon as my mom saw me, she started yelling, saying I was a disgrace and that she wouldn't let me cut her off. She told me to come home if I knew what was good for me. I didn't feel scared or angry. I was just tired. I sighed, took out my phone, and told her I was calling the police. I said she could stay and face them, but either way, I was getting a no-contact order. She went pale, yelled at me one last time, and then ran off, getting into her car and driving away really fast. I was glad it didn't happen during the party, but it left me shaken. My grandmother and I are going to talk to our lawyer tomorrow. I'm still not sure how my mom found out about the party, which worries me the most. Do entitled parents just have some kind of ability to keep messing up their kids' lives? I'm starting to feel like I'll have to watch out for my mom for the rest of my life. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. Yes, entitled parents often try to ruin their children's lives because they can't see their own faults. They blame others instead. Have you talked to your dad since this happened? Do you plan to cut off contact with him too? Maybe he can help figure out who told your mom about the party. OP. I haven't talked to my dad since the incident. I don't want to cut off contact with him. He seems genuinely sorry for what happened and is trying to change. I didn't tell him about the party, so he couldn't have told my mom. I'll call him today to see what happened after my mom left. Thanks for the advice. It makes sense. Commenter 2. Could your mom be tracking your phone? OP. I thought about that, and my grandmother agreed. We checked my phone, but didn't find anything suspicious. We're thinking of getting a new phone just to be safe. Thanks for the suggestion. I'm in therapy, and it's really helping me deal with the guilt and pressure I felt after leaving. I won't lie, despite my posts in AITA, part of me wanted to go back home, but I knew it wasn't what I really wanted. I also knew that if I did, I'd keep sacrificing unnecessarily. Update post 3, March 4, 2024, 2 weeks later. Sorry for the delay in updating. A lot has been going on and I've been busy with schoolwork too. I talked to my dad and told him about what happened. He sounded really shocked and apologized a lot, but I told him it wasn't his fault. He promised to figure out what happened and get back to me. In the meantime, we talked to our lawyer and he agreed to file a no-contact order against my mother, which is in progress. My grandmother also contacted my school to make sure my mom couldn't come on campus or get any information about me. We both got new phones and we checked my grandma's car for an AirTag, but there wasn't one. I looked at all my friends' social media, but nothing was posted about the party before it happened. I was really confused. 5 days later, my dad called me back. He said he pressured my mom a lot, and she finally told him what happened. She ran into another parent at a store, the mom of one of my friends who couldn't come to the party because they were sick. This mom didn't know about the problems between my mom and me, but she gave my mom enough information to figure out where the party was. I'm just glad my mom couldn't find out the exact time of the party. She tried calling the venue, but we had everything password locked, so they didn't give her any information. She didn't show any regret and even talked about waiting off school grounds to try and drag me back by the hair one day. Just thinking about it makes me feel sick. My dad was shocked, and that was the last straw for him. They had a big argument, and long story short, he said he was done. He's moving out and staying in a hotel while he files for divorce and full custody of Matt. He's even offering to pay the nanny himself for Matt's sake. Now even the relatives who supported my mom are starting to cut her off. She insists she did nothing wrong and blames everything on me for being ungrateful and disloyal. Overall, there's hope for my dad and my brother. I think we can have a better relationship in the future as long as my mom stays out of it. Time will tell. Someone in the comments of my last post asked if I plan to completely cut my mom out of my life once the no contact order was filed. I didn't want to, she's my mom. But with the way she's acting now, I don't think I have a choice. It's for my safety and well-being, both physically and emotionally. It's sad, but I know it's not my fault she's like this. Story 2. Family and friends ruined my marriage by making me paranoid about my wife cheating. After divorce, I confronted them, and they admitted trying to steal her away. I've been divorced for almost 2 years now. A few weeks ago, my dad, my 2 brothers, and 4 friends got really drunk and started joking about how surprised they were that I left my wife. They confessed that they had all tried to get with her after the divorce, but she turned them down every time, saying it wouldn't be right to do that to me. At first, I laughed along with them just to see if they would say more, and once they thought I found it funny, they started opening up. They admitted that they purposely made me feel paranoid about my ex-wife cheating on me and using me. They said things like, "Why would a woman like her be with a guy like you if it wasn't for your money?" They often hinted or even directly said that she controlled our relationship and that she was only with me because I was easily manipulated. They constantly put negative thoughts in my head. Whenever I talked to them about something in my marriage, they would twist it in a negative way or give me bad advice on purpose. Then, when I lost my job during COVID, they all hinted that she was probably cheating now that there was no financial benefit in being faithful to me. I trusted them and took their words to heart, which ended up ruining my marriage. I constantly argued with my wife and accused her of not really loving me. I questioned everything about our relationship. I often told her how I was a high-value man and that she needed to appreciate me. When I was unemployed for 6 months, I turned things around and accused her of not respecting me because I wasn't working. I didn't appreciate all the hard work she did and how she took care of our household bills during those 6 months. I let their words make me paranoid and started accusing her of cheating with her coworkers. Eventually, my wife had enough of my mood swings, constant mistrust, and accusations. She left me, and at first, it felt like it came out of nowhere. I convinced myself she left me for another man. Now I realize that every man I considered family and friends were actually my enemies who destroyed my marriage. I completely lost it once they finished telling me how they plotted to ruin my marriage, and we ended up fighting. I've cut off all contact with them now. I want to reach out to my ex and apologize, hoping to fix things between us. She agreed to meet up, but she doesn't know why. I'm not sure how to apologize and ask for another chance. Is there any hope for us to get back together? Edit. Some people keep saying, you believed your friends over your wife, but it's more complicated than that. I trusted my dad and brothers, especially since my dad was the main one behind all this. It's tough when your whole family, even your friends, are against you. I know I messed up and take full responsibility for how my marriage ended. I regret accusing my wife and causing her pain. If my ex doesn't accept my apology, I'll understand. If she never wants to talk to me or get back together, I'll respect her decision. I won't try to change her mind or interfere. I'll wish her well and leave her alone. Relevant comments. Fun statistician 550. They knew how to manipulate you, that's for sure. I'm glad you cut them off and want to talk to your ex. She might not forgive you, but at least give her the chance to have closure. OOP. It's hard to accept, but it's true. I trusted these men, especially my dad and brothers. I never thought my own family would plot against me and try to get with my wife. I won't stop my ex from speaking her mind. I hope she can forgive me and maybe even consider getting back together, but I won't expect it. I'll respect her decision either way. Jess Moju. Wait, your dad and brothers also tried to get with your wife? Is landlord 830. It's surprising they're still around after admitting that. I admire your restraint. That's just awful. OOP. I didn't mention the violence that erupted because I didn't want my post to get banned. There was definitely bludgeoned, and I got beaten up since it was 7 against 1, but I fought back too. An ambulance and the police were called, but none of us pressed charges. I'm still furious and heartbroken. Update March 4, 2024, 6 days later. On Sunday, I met up with my ex-wife. I apologized a lot, and she was kind but said she couldn't forgive me. She explained that forgiveness isn't easy for her but that she holds no grudges and wishes me well. She advised me to cut out my father from my life because he's been a source of pain and has influenced how my family treats me. She said I'd be stuck and unhappy if I stayed connected to my family and old friends. I told her I cut out my toxic family and that I have my first therapy session soon. She said she's proud of me for taking that step toward healing. Our talk was deep and emotional as we went over the ways our marriage failed and the abuse I faced from my father and family. We cried a lot during our conversation, and it was really tough. We ended with a long hug and said our goodbyes. Final comment from OOP: forgiveness isn't something you automatically get. It's earned through changed behavior and recognizing the harm you've caused. But sometimes, forgiveness just isn't possible, and that's okay. I agree with her that forgiveness isn't necessary for healing or growing emotionally. It's tough, but I have to accept that she may never forgive me, and that's okay.